Hi, hello, how are you? Amanda, Seint Artist. I'm going to do my makeup today. Today, I'm going to talk about Seint, shocker, right? I know. Cream-based 3D foundation system, 1 layer of makeup, amazing coverage, very little product on your face. I'm going to talk about longevity. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take my setting spray and I'm going to put it on a beauty blender and I'm going to put it on the lower part of my face first. Because you never know where you stand right now. Some people are wearing masks a lot, some people aren't. Put your setting spray on, whatever setting spray you're using, put it on first as a primer. You don't need to go buy a special primer. If you have very oily skin, I would recommend the Urban Decay De-Slick instead of the Seint setting spray. So there we go. The next thing I'm gonna do is, I have combination skin, so I'm gonna combat my oily skin in the areas where I get oily. And this helps with movement of my makeup. So I use the Vanilla Dust setting powder. It's really well pressed, it's really fine, so it doesn't add texture. And I'm putting this only on the areas where I get oily. Okay, so I go right down the middle of the face and I get a little bit on the tops of my cheeks. That's where I'm oily. Where you are, apply it to where you are oily. If it's all over, slap it all over. It's okay. It's a really fine powder, so it's not going to add texture. And as you start moving through the day, your skin's going to be oily. And right now, that powder is absorbing the moisture that has come out of my skin thus far today. And that's how it combats it for starting out. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and do my color correcting. It's really fast. It's really easy. I use Frenchie. It's a lip and cheek. Really pretty for the cheek, really pretty for the lips, and really good to help combat darkness under the eyes. It just turns it a little bit pink. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going into Mango. It's a bit darker than my skin tone, and right here you can see I have some discoloration. So all I'm doing is applying it to that area in a really light layer, and it is too dark for my skin. And what this does is it mutes down, you can still see it, it's muting down the discoloration so that when I start putting on my blush and my contour, it's not gonna pull that darkness through and shine. So I'm only putting it where it's needed. I'm not putting it all over. A little bit here. A little goes a very long way. And that's it. I have battled my discoloration. That's it. Look, my skin looks fine. Not so much up close. Looks like it's a few different colors. That's okay. So now we can go in and we can start putting on our makeup. So with 3D foundation, you will put your face on in a 3D method. You're not going to put a layer of foundation on and then start piling on your concealers, your powders, and all your other things. We're going to put this on in 1 layer. So what I'm going to do first is I am going to use my finger because it's the easiest way for me to show how easy this is. I'm going to go into my main highlight and I'm going to put a bit on my finger and I'm going to come right here and I'm going to mark up like a beard on my face. Just like that. And when you apply with your finger, the warmth of your finger and the warmth of your face can make this creamy. This was a brand new tile and you can see how it just gets so nice and creamy on your face. That's what's going to help it blend. So I'm just coming down above my jaw, below my cheek. It's hard to tell because it's my skin tone. So I'm just putting it here on a beard and then coming up right there. I'm going to come down on each side of my chin. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to do an arch I'm going to go from peak to peak. And I'm just making a little arch. And that's it. That's all the foundation that I need because we're doing 1 layer. Next, I'm going to go into my brightening color. And I am just going to come right here. And this color is a shade or 2 lighter than your actual skin tone. And I'm going to come down the bridge of my nose and then the tip. And then I'm going to put a little bit of a Charlie Chaplin right here. And a soul patch right here. And that's it for my under eye. I'm going to go right here over that Frenchie color and I'm just putting it on the inner corner right here. Then I'm just tapping this on and I'm going to put it right up here. And then whatever's left on my finger, I'll just bring down on the top of that cheekbone. All right, same thing over here, putting it in that inner corner. And I'm just tapping this in. It's not a lot. It looks like it's more than it is because this isn't my actual skin color. And then again, whatever's left, just bridge down on that cheekbone. That's it for brightening. Now I'm going to go into my contour here. I'm using the color Indigo right here. And I am going to go right here. and here because we have natural shadowing on the top of our head from, you know, our skull and our hair. And so I'm just putting that in here, and then everybody has shadowing on the side of their nose. I'm able to straighten my nose and narrow the tip because that's how I like to structure my nose. And so it's all one layer of makeup. And then I'm going to get the tip, boop, just like that. All right, next I'm going to do my jawline. I'm going to go in front of my earlobe and down. Now, when I'm putting this on my finger, I am just tapping this in and putting this much on. Again, it looks scary, especially with indigo because it is dark, but they blend out so beautifully. I'm going to go onto my cheekbone. I'm going to feel, I have that on my finger. I'm going to feel for my cheekbone. Now, here's the trick. You feel for your cheekbone. Do not go below your cheekbone. You'll end up bringing your cheeks down and shortening your face. You're going to want to hug that cheekbone. Give her a hug and just bring it in to the inner corner of your, or outer corner of your eye. Same thing over here. You're going to hug that cheekbone. So you almost feel like you're on it, but you're just on the edge because if I go down here, it's going to bring my cheek down. It can pull my face down. All right, next, we're going to go into some bronzer. I'm going to just tap into it and I'm going to put it right here because this is where the sun kisses our face. So it adds some warmth. And then I'm going to go up here to the top of my cheekbone and I'm going to bring it down even with my contour. And that's because when I do my bronzer, I like to use it a little bit with a blush. I like my pinks to be warm. So I just keep it even with my contour. All right. Next I'm going into pink. Is it pink grapefruit? Baby watermelon. And I'm just going to pop into here, put a little bit on, very pigmented. So a little goes a long way. Don't swipe. I'm going to come right where my contour and my bronzer end, and I'm just going to pop it in there. That's it. I'm going to pop it right there. That's our face. We are done. So now let's go out for the day. No, now we blend. So key to keeping your makeup where it is little product. I don't have a lot on. I have a lot in one spot. Does that make sense? So I have a lot of bronzer right here. I have a lot of contour right here, but we're blending it out and moving this all over our face because we're going to even out our skin tones without changing our skin color. I'm going to keep my shadow where my shadow is. I'm going to add my warmth where my warmth is. We're keeping the colors where they are instead of matting us out and rebuilding. We're just keeping the colors where, I don't know how to explain it, but I'm not turning my face one color. All right, I'm going to take the blush and bronzer brush and I'm going to go in with this short end and I'm going to blend by color. So I'm going to go into my main highlight, which is what I had put right here. And with a light touch, I'm not pushing, with a light touch, I'm just blending and steepling over that main highlight. And then I'm going to blend it over and then I'm going to bring it to my nose. The reason I bring it to my nose is because this is a crease. This area gets a lot of movement because we do a lot of talking, smiling, laughing, crying. There's movement. So if you apply a cream there, it's going to collect and it's going to crack. If you're applying your foundation, your concealer, and your powder there, it's going to really crack and crack. All right, next I'm going to go right here and I'm going to go right up here and I'm just going to blend this down. And I'm using, again, a light touch, bringing it to the nose, and I'm using a light touch. You can even just steeple it and that will move it. I'm going to come to my brightness right here and I'm going to steeple over and I'm going to bring it out to that main highlight. That's how easy this is. Everybody's like, oh, you just make it look easy. Well, I've been doing it for 2 years, but also it is easy. I promise. I wouldn't decide to do this. Nobody came to me and said, you need to do this. You need to sell some makeup. I started doing this because I love this makeup and it's fun. Look at me. I'm having a good time. All right, sorry. Okay, so I'm going to go to the brightness right here. I like to do my light colors first and then I go into my darks. If you just blend this and think everything's going to stay and it's going to be magic, you're going to end up like an Oompa Loompa. It's okay. Just go by color. So you can also apply these one at a time. But this is how I like to apply the makeup because it's the best way for me to apply the makeup in a way where I don't over apply the makeup. I'm not putting if I were to put my main highlight on, I run the chance of putting it in areas that it doesn't need to be. So this is a really good way to, 1, get to know your face, and 2, make sure you don't over apply the product. All right, so now I've done my main and I've done my brightening except for my under eyes and this little line on my nose. The next color I'm going to go into is my contour, which is this scary line I drew on my face. All right, so I'm going to go in and I'm going to start up here at the top, and I'm going to do little circles, and I'm going to bring it up to my cheekbone because we want these to work together. So we just kind of bring it where it is, and then I'm going to use circles, and I'm going to bring this down my jaw. Now, everyone's face is structured differently. If you have a very full face, contour just towards the back. And so I'm just going to bring this, blend it, and then I'm going to pull this down my neck. And this just brings my contour down like a shadow, and it blends seamlessly. Not so scary, right? It just looks like a shadow, structures the jaw. It can slim the jaw down also. All right, so again, little circles, bringing it up to your cheekbone, and then start circling down, bringing it down the jaw. And if you're ever curious how to contour and you're feeling a little lost, message me. If you're not local, we can FaceTime. If you are local, you can come here. I can go to you. I'm here to help you. I am your greatest tool with trying new makeup. When you leave Sephora, your sales girl's not going to call you and ask how it's going. But I will. I might. And if you have questions, you can't call and be like, can I talk to Tiffany? I got a question about what I was using. She's not going to know. I'm going to know. All right. So I brought this down. I'm going to move on from ranting about sales girls. Okay, I'm going to come up and I'm going to handle the forehead. So this is super easy. You're just going to keep it where it is using circles, and you're just going to blend it, blend it, blend it. And you're just going to move it into the hairline, keeping it where it is. And then you're going to bring it to that brown, bronzy yumminess. And that's going to add the warmth to your forehead. And there we go. I'm going to blend this. Right there. And so then we're going to go right here, blend, blend, blend. And the warmth of your skin is what makes this work. Now, you're working with cream. So the brightness and the main highlight I had is blended out, and now it's working with my contour here, okay? And so I'm just blending, 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 just like that. I'm going to flip it to the fluffy end. I'm just going to push that brightness out to that contour and just give everything. This fluffy end is mainly just for finishing everything off. And it just marries everything together really super nice. One layer of makeup on my forehead, and I have dimension and coverage. Okay, next I'm going to go to my nose, and I'm going to use the edge right here, and I'm just going to up and down this. And I'm going to bring it to my brows. And the reason I'm doing that is because if you look at this side, you have natural shadowing. So you don't want to just blend right here. You want to bring the shadow where it needs to be. And so we just blend it up and down, up and down, up and down, pull it down, bring it to the brow, move your shadow where your shadow is. I'm just going to take care of the tip here. I'm just fluffing that up a bit and tap, tap, tapping. I'm going to use my finger, and on that brightening I have here, I'm just going to tap over it. Just like that. And all this is doing is blending this out really nice. Look at that. You can take that fluffy end and just bounce over it, give it a little whooshy whoosh. That's a nice nose, isn't it? Thank you. All right, let's get to the cheeks. This is where I get you. This is where I get you all, is the cheek, which is why I save it for last. Okay, when you're blending all these colors together, you go by color again. So I'm going to start with my contour, and I'm going to use little circles with a light touch, and I'm just keeping it where it is, and I'm blending this out. And I'm pushing up, I'm not pulling it down. Then I'm going to go into my bronzer and up to my temple, because we're bringing here to here. And just bringing it in. Then when it's time to go to my cheek, I'm going to steeple over that pink. I'm going to bring it into the bronzer, and as I smile, I can see where my apple is. I'm going to bring that pink down to my apple of my cheek. And now I'm going to flip it, and I'm just going to marry these together. And that's how easy it is. I'm going to take the same top, I'm not going to clean it off, and I am going to push onto that brightening I had put under my eye, and I'm just tapping it, blending it over, blending it up to that. I had put some up here, tapping on that, bringing it down, That's how easy it is. That's how easy it is. And because I did that color corrector over those darker reddish, purplish spots, because I had color corrected, when I put that pink over it, it's not pulling that pink out. I had a melasma spot up here. Because I color corrected that, the darkness I just put on with my contour and bronzer didn't pull it out because it muted it down and made it workable. So again, we're going to use little circles. We're going to stay here on that contour, just using little circles, blending it out. We're going to come up to that bronzer, bring it up to the temple. And we're just using little circles. We're going to steeple over that pink, bring it up, and then bring it down. And we're going to smile so we can see the apples of our cheeks. Don't assume you know where your apple is. Smile, okay? Because otherwise you can make your cheek go in a direction it really isn't at. If you think your apple's down here, mine's actually up here. Steeple, steeple, steeple. Taking the brush, and I'm going to tap over that brightening, and I'm bringing it over to the other side of brightening. Tap, tap, tapping this one up and down, bringing it over and bringing them together. And when I do this last, it helps combat if my pink went too high, which can happen. I mean, shit happens, right? All right, there we go. Flipping it, fluffing it, and marrying it together. Okay, so I have applied the makeup. I've put my one layer of makeup on, and now I want it to stay where it is. So here's what I do, and this is for my days where I am out around town. I got all the errands to run. My mask is going on, my mask is coming off. This is what I do to combat that. The first thing I do is I first take the short end of my blush and bronzer and I go back into my vanilla dust. And I'm going to apply that to the areas I get shiny. And I'm going to go around my nose, going in again, and I'm going to get right down here under my chin or under my lip. And then right here, I always get really oily here. Now, what I like about this is it doesn't accentuate my pores, which I feel like I have large pores. And so this doesn't accentuate the pores. And because I have such a little amount of makeup on, because I didn't do foundation and then concealer to set it with a powder, to then go over with another powder for my blush and another powder for my bronzer and another powder for my contour, I have one layer of makeup on and I haven't piled on about 3 or 4 different powders. So it's not going to accentuate my fine lines that I have because, you know, I'm of an age, and it's not going to accentuate my pores. It's not going to crepe my skin on my soft tissue because I have one layer of makeup on. You don't need to set your under eyes with powder. If you feel, I mean, it's a soft tissue. Our eyes move, our face moves. So if you ever notice that your makeup has moved and is settling in, you take a finger and you press it out, and it puts the makeup back where it is, resets it, and it's fresh again. Your makeup stays fresh throughout the day. You don't need to add more makeup on. You just need to go in and reset those smile lines, reset under your eyes, reset that hatchet that your children have given you. You just have to push it back out and it's fresh again. You can't say that about any other makeup out there. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my setting spray. I'm going to, with Seint setting spray, you spray it up and you let it fall on your face, just like that. You let this dry. We dry. Okay, the next thing that I use, and it's not a Seint product, but on my heavy mask days, this is what I swear by. It was referred to me by another artist who is a teacher and uses this, and she wears a mask all day. I've given this to some of my nurse friends, and we know they wear masks all day, and they say it works. And you know what? It does. I use it too. So this is the Urban Decay All Nighter Pressed Waterproof Setting Powder. This one is the one that I like the most. I've used the Coty Airspun, and I love the Coty Airspun, especially on the days where it's super hot and humid. But this is really good because it doesn't change color. It doesn't add texture. Loose powder can get a little out of control and can add texture. This one, I have found that it doesn't. So I'm going to take the fluffy end of my blush and bronzer and I'm going to tap into it 3 times. And then I'm just going to go over all the places, especially up my entire cheek, down on my chin, entire cheek, down on my chin, and the tip of my damn nose, because holy smokes, the mask can really rip it off that. And that's it.